You think you switched tasks. Your brain didn't. There's a phenomenon called attention residue, and it's quietly dismantling your ability to think deeply. This video about what's actually happening inside your mind when you try to focus. Picture this. You're sitting down to write, study, or solve a hard problem. You've closed your messages. You've put your phone away. But something keeps pulling you back. You're physically present, but mentally, you're somewhere else entirely. Here's the question nobody asks. What if the problem isn't distraction at all? What if the real problem is that your brain never fully left the last thing you were doing, even after you moved on? This is called attention residue, a term coined by organizational psychologist Dr. Sophie Leroy. It describes what happens when part of your cognitive resources remain stuck on a previous task, even after you've technically moved on. It's not laziness. It's not poor discipline. It's how the human brain actually works. In Leroy's original 2009 study, participants who switched from an incomplete task to a new one performed measurably worse, even on simple cognitive tests. The unfinished task was still active in working memory, consuming cognitive bandwidth. Research from Gloria at UC Irvine shows it takes over 23 minutes to regain full focus after a single interruption. Leroy's work suggests up to 40% of your cognitive bandwidth stays attached to the previous task, and the average knowledge worker switches tasks 86 times per day. Working memory, the active workspace of your mind, can only hold about 4 meaningful chunks of information at once. When you leave a task unfinished, your brain keeps that task as an active loop, consuming one of those precious slots. You are literally thinking with less brain. This connects to the Zeigarnik effect, discovered nearly a century ago. Our brains are wired to remember and prioritize incomplete tasks. Evolution built this in, so we would finish what we started. In a world of constant switching, that ancient mechanism works against you. Newport's research on deep work shows that the most cognitively valuable work, the work that creates real output, real skill, real career progress, requires extended periods of complete focus. Attention residue makes that state nearly impossible to reach. You're performing the appearance of deep work without actually accessing it. Most productivity advice, time blocking, Pomodoro timers, phone-free desks, is targeting the wrong thing. These tactics manage the incoming stream of distraction. They do nothing about the residue already sitting in your working memory from everything you've been carrying all day. The enemy isn't your phone. It isn't your noisy environment. The enemy is the cognitive history you carry into every session. The unresolved, the unfinished, the mentally open. So how do you actually solve this? Not with willpower. With a system that works with your brain's architecture instead of against it. The system has 3 phases: task closure, a transition ritual, and an entry protocol. Each one addresses a different layer of residue. Together, they create a genuine mental clean slate. Phase 1, task closure. Before you leave any task, even if you're leaving mid-thought, take 60 seconds and write down exactly where you are, what the next physical action is, and one thought you need to remember. This offloads the open loop from working memory onto paper. Leroy's 2016 follow-up study confirmed this single behavior significantly reduced residue on the subsequent task. The offloading note has exactly 3 fields: where you are, what's next, and own thought you don't want to lose. It takes 60 seconds. It closes the cognitive loop. Your brain can finally release the task. Phase 2 is the transition ritual. Research by Peter Gallwitzer on implementation intentions shows that if-then planning, if I finish this task, then I will take a 3-minute walk, dramatically improves cognitive switching. The ritual acts as a hard boundary between contexts. It tells your prefrontal cortex, that chapter is closed. Here are 4 proven transition rituals. A 3-minute walk, writing 3 words of intent for the next session. A water and reset anchor, or a 4-7-8 breath pattern. None of these take more than 5 minutes. All of them create a genuine cognitive boundary. The entry protocol primes your prefrontal cortex before the hard work begins. Read what you left yourself. Name your single output goal. Then start with the smallest version of the actual task. Not email, not setup, not planning. The task. Altman and Trafton's research on interrupted task resumption shows that explicit goal priming, simply reminding yourself of where you were and what matters, reduces re-entry time by up to 40%. The entry protocol builds this science directly into your routine. Here is the complete system: task closure, transition ritual, entry protocol. Then deep work. 3 preparatory phases, each taking under 5 minutes. Together, they create what you've been trying to force with willpower, a genuine mental clean slate. Here's the mistake most people make. They treat task switching as a neutral act. They don't close what they were doing. They just open the next thing. Every unclosed switch stacks residue. By afternoon, you're not tired. You're cognitively overloaded. You know you're in residue mode when you reread the same sentence 3 times without registering it. When you open a task and immediately want to check something else. When you work 480 minutes and can't account for what happened. That low-grade mental noise isn't anxiety. It's overloaded working memory. Here's the recovery protocol. When you catch yourself in residue mode, and you will, don't fight it and don't spiral. Stop. Write an offloading note for whatever's stuck in your head. Do one transition ritual, then re-enter. This system isn't about never having residue. It's about clearing it faster than before. There's also a mid-session recovery tool called the brain drain. When you feel distracted mid-session, take 2 minutes to write down everything competing for your attention. Not to action any of it, just to get it out of working memory. Research on cognitive offloading confirms this simple act reliably improves the performance of whatever you return to. 3 environmental design principles. Single tab sessions. 1 window, 1 purpose. Batch communication. Messages in defined windows, not an always open background thread. And completion cycles. A deliberate 3-minute closure at the end of every block, not just stopping when the timer rings. Here's the paradox. 3 properly prepared 2-hour blocks of genuine deep work will produce more than 8 hours of residue-saturated pseudo-work. This is why elite performers protect preparation as jealously as production. The work before the work is the work. Leroy's 2016 study provides even stronger evidence. Participants who wrote specific, concrete plans for their incomplete tasks before switching showed residue levels equivalent to having actually finished the task. The act of planning creates psychological closure. Your brain treats a written plan as a completed thought. One more thing before we close. If you've been blaming yourself for poor focus, if you've told yourself you're undisciplined, scattered, not built for this kind of work, I want you to hear this clearly. Attention residue is not a character flaw. It is the default operating state of a brain that evolved for a different world. Discipline is not the answer. Architecture is. If you take only one thing from this video, make it this. Before your next context switch, write the 3-line offloading note. Where are you? What is the next action? One thought you want to keep. Do that consistently for 1 week. And notice how different your afternoons feel. You don't need more focus. You've always had the capacity. You need less residue. Clear the mental cache, prepare the ground, and let your actual intelligence do what it's capable of. That's the work. Gazzaley's neuroscience research confirms that attention residue is not a low intelligence problem. The prefrontal cortex, which governs top-down attention, is vulnerable in every human brain. High performers often experience the performance gap of residue more acutely because they've set higher standards for their output. Ward et al.'s 2017 study found that having a smartphone visible on your desk, even face down, even switched off, measurably reduced cognitive performance on subsequent tasks. Your brain was allocating resources to suppress the urge to check it. The phone wasn't the distraction. The possibility of the phone was. When your brain isn't actively working, it activates the default mode network, associated with rest, creative integration, and self-reflection. Attention residue hijacks the DMN, redirecting it to unresolved task loops. This means you get neither genuine rest between sessions nor full focus during them. You're stuck in a cognitively expensive middle state. This is the comparison that matters. A residue-saturated day looks like hard work, but a day built around the attention reset system produces more valuable output in half the hours. The goal isn't more time at the desk. It's more cognitive presence during the time you're there. Ericsson's foundational research on elite performance reveals that even the world's best performers rarely sustained more than 4 hours of true deliberate practice daily. Not because of effort limits, but because genuine cognitive presence, the kind that produces skill growth, is incompatible with residue. They didn't do more hours. They did cleaner hours. Arriga and Yaris showed that brief mental breaks restore sustained attention, but the quality of the break matters enormously. A 5-minute walk restores attention. 5 minutes of social media scrolling adds new residue on top of existing residue. You're not recovering, you're accumulating. Csikszentmihalyi's research on flow, the state of complete absorption in meaningful work, is directly blocked by attention residue. Flow requires the brain to fully commit to a single challenge. Competing cognitive loops make that impossible. Clearing residue isn't about focus. It's about creating the conditions where flow can actually occur. Residue compounds. Without deliberate clearing, each switch adds to the stack. By mid-afternoon, many knowledge workers are beginning tasks with 60 or 70% of working memory already occupied. The day doesn't get harder because you're tired. It gets harder because you've been accumulating without clearing. At the weekly level, design your schedule around cognitive load, not calendar efficiency. Monday mornings clear weekend residue before entering deep work. Tuesday and Wednesday are peak deep work days. Protect them. Thursday handles communication and collaboration, which generates residue that Friday's closure day resolves through a complete loop closing session. The most dangerous productivity trap is mistaking busyness for output. Attention residue is the mechanism that makes this trap invisible. You're switching tasks, responding, producing, but the cognitive depth required for your most important work is never accessible. The day feels full. The output is thin. Gloria Mark's field research tracking real knowledge workers found that a single email interruption caused a 64-second reorientation delay and more than 23 minutes to return to equivalent cognitive depth. One email, 23 minutes of degraded performance. Batching email is not a lifestyle preference. It's a cognitive necessity. Here is the complete daily checklist. Morning. Review yesterday's offloading notes. Before each session, write your goal in one sentence. Every task switch, complete the 3-line offloading note. Between sessions, one transition ritual. Mid-session, the 2-minute brain drain. End of day, final closure note for all open loops. The work before the work is the work. Every system in this video is preparation. Preparation is not procrastination. Preparation is what makes the actual work possible at the level you're capable of. Clear the residue, prepare the ground, and let your real capacity emerge. If this way of thinking about focus and performance resonates with you, subscribe to Beyond Drift. Every video distills one hidden behavioral pattern into one practical system you can use immediately. All sources are real, peer-reviewed, and accessible. Full citations are in the video description.